to KO to Prep Area. This is a brand new podcast dedicated to the new game, Marvel Dice Masters Avengers vs. X-Men. I'm your host, Rico, and my partner here, JP. And we're here today to kind of go over the game. This first episode is going to basically go over the basics of the game and a little bit about who we are so that you kind of get an idea of where we're going to be going with this podcast from here on out. We can start off with a little bit of introduction. If you want to go ahead first, JP, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. I've been playing games, collectible games, things like that ever since I was a kid. I guess probably one of the first ones was way back when, like the Star Trek TCG, the Star Wars TCG. Jumped into the Marvel universe, and that's when I really became a real big fan watching cartoons of the Marvel. Got to play a great game called Overpower, which unfortunately only had a short run, but that was fantastic. And then came all the way up, to all kinds of other ones. Play-tested one, Full Metal Alchemist, play-tested that. That was an incredible game too, very popular game as well. And then all the way till even now. I love finding new games and playing them and working with them, all the way up to even X-Men. I currently play the X-Wing game, not X-Men, the X-Wing miniatures game, and then jumped into this one. So very recently, I'm always playing new games, old games, all kinds of that sort.
So you're more of a competitive player.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm a competitive guy for sure. I like the fun aspect of it, but I really like Marvel Universe, and I like anything that they do. So that's what got me into this. But I also like the game Warriors, which
is based on.
Is based on the creators, which that's what tied me into this. And so I knew it was a win-win. I was a Warriors fanatic when it came out. So
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's super fun. But yeah.
So my perspective's a little bit different, a little bit unique. Obviously, I've been playing games my entire life. I started off playing role-playing games, Dungeons & Dragons. Then I moved up and, played board games as a kid. As I got a little bit older, I started playing Magic the Gathering in high school and played that. I really enjoyed playing, collective games, collectible card games like that. I got into a group shortly thereafter out of college and started helping design and play test for various other card games. I've met a lot of people in the industry. There are a lot of great guys, and I've had a good group of core friends who are play testers. We still currently play test and help design new collectible card games that are coming out all the time. Recently, a few of my friends and myself opened up a game store. It's called A to Z Games, located in Tucson, Arizona, which is where we're both based out of. We're a couple desert rats sitting out here in the sun. And so, as a venue owner, I have a little bit of different perspective coming from the side of trying to get people interested in the games. I run a lot of the games at the store. I've been playing HeroClix, which is another WizKids owned game since its inception, which came out, I think, in 2001. I've been a big comic book superhero fan my entire life, and HeroClix really kind of hit that niche for me. It was something that you could grab, and pit your favorite characters against each other. And so when we opened the store, I was kind of the guy who started getting that into our area there, and it's grown into our second largest selling game that we have in the store. So when this game came out, I was really excited about it because I think that it has a lot of cross-compatibility to a lot of players, and so it's really taken off. So I do have a little bit of a unique perspective, so I hope that you guys can get a little bit of different perspectives from JP and myself, him as a player, myself as an owner, who I do also play. I do go to the high-level events. I try to go to Gen Con every year. I've had a chance to meet a lot of the people behind the scenes that make the games. I've met a lot of the guys at WizKids. They're all great guys. So I really like the products they put out and getting involved in their organized play program and things like that. So basically what we would like to do with this podcast is give you a little bit of a different viewpoints from the game, ideas, strategies, tips, tactics, things that we've learned from playing the game, ideas on how to grow the game, the way that we're going to run organized play at our specific store, which you can run, any way you want. If you're a venue owner or the tournament organizer for this game. But I'll kind of let you know what we're doing at our stores, what works, what doesn't work, and we'd love to hear your feedback as well. If you have ideas, if you're a venue owner or the tournament organizer, and different ideas that you've had, because we kind of had to we ran an event last week for the launch of the game, which came out on April 23rd, and we kind of had to modify it because of the lack of product that was available at the time. But we'll get into that in a minute. So basically, that's who we are. So you can kind of understand where we're going to be coming from in our background in games in that situation. What we want to talk about basically today is the basics.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Basically. The idea of the game, we're assuming that since you're listening to this podcast that you have an idea of the game. The game has been out on the market for a week, and if you were one of the lucky few who got their hands on the starter...
Pre-owned it.
Yeah.
Pre-ordered it. Yeah, I did, I guess.
Yeah, I mean...
It sold out quick.
Honest story, I'm a venue owner, and I don't own a starter. So we pre-sold all of our starters that we were allocated to our players, and so... I didn't actually get one. So I've been playing the game.
Nice guy.
Thanks. I appreciate that. But I've been able to play the game, but I haven't had a chance to get my own starter. I did get... The store got a copy, an advanced copy when we went to the Gamma Trade show back in March, and I came back with it, and I cracked it open. So I've been playing the store copy, demoing it for people since March. I actually showed JP the game when I got back. He's the one... That's how he got it. Interested in the game.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I was hooked right from the get-go.
Yeah, everybody that I show the game to, it wants to play it, wants to get into it. And when I tell them that it's $14.99 for a starter, 99 cents a booster pack.
Oh, okay. I'll take two. Wait a second. Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, and I think that's part of the problem with what happened with quantity is that I know they had allocated so much expectation for this game based upon, I think they were thinking of it as a HeroClix release, but because of the price point and the popularity of the proprietary characters, they got triple the amount of things that they were expecting.
Yeah.
So
I think the price point is absolute genius. I mean, coming from a collectible point of view of playing other collectible card games, this is the absolute bare minimum I've ever seen in a game. Not only the core set of the starter being $15, but a booster being $1. I love the fact that you can just go into a store, have $5 in your pocket, and get 5 boosters. Like, that is outrageously amazing. Which is why I'm sure a lot of you listening, this might be your first collectible card game, game that you've ever played. I wouldn't panic, and sometimes it's great that it is. I really like collectible games for the fact of being able to open a booster of the unknown. When you get that one guy that you've been wanting for a while, it sends the dopamine out. You get a little excited. Whereas, LCGs, the living card games, as it is, you know exactly what you're purchasing. Those are usually higher cost up front because you have to pay a lot of money up front. But it takes the fun of the unknown away. And that's what I really like, that this has the unknown and it's affordable. So I think that's absolutely fantastic, and that's why I really love this game. When it came to the cost of it, they had to cut some corners and things like that, but I'm completely fine with it.
Sure. We can talk about those specifics, of this. We'll talk about the starter in specific here in just a minute, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, as somebody, who sells the game, I love being able to offer my customers something that's under $1. I mean, that's just awesome. 99 cents.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you can usually get at a game store. That's a game that's under $1. It's great. And I just like being able to offer to people. You get 2 cards, you get dice. I mean, who doesn't love dice, right? I mean, it's dice.
Yeah.
Not only do you get cool cards, but you got dice, and these dice are really cool. They've got different images on them. For each of the characters, they've got their logo or the symbols of the different items.
Different colors. You can just immediately see a color and know that, oh my gosh, that's Hulk's dot. That's super green.
Exactly, yeah. And they did a really good job. I hope that they hold up over time, using them, but it's just like any other game. If you're going to use the product a lot, it's going to get some wear and tear on there. So I'm sure people are going to start complaining about things wearing off on the dice. But I mean,
it should be known. I mean, even when using just normal dice, a D6, the numbers will rub off. I mean,
right.
It's not a faulty of the product or them cutting corners or anything like that having to do with dice. I think the dice are absolutely fantastic, and I love that they're actually engraved, and it's not just the seal on top, where the color could run off more, but you you feel the indentions. I mean, that is great quality die.
They're nice, they're light, they're easy to roll. They fit in your hand well. You can grab the 4 out of your bag really easy. So it's great. The cards are a good size. They're nice. The way that they package them in the booster packs, I really liked how they put that extra little hard stock inside the pack to keep the cards from bending a little bit.
It helped. I mean, definitely without it, it would have been bad. But with it, there's a little bit of warp. There's warp zone to it, because when you have a hard object with cardboard, with this, whatever this material would be, I guess,
right.
of the card, it's going to bend them a little bit, especially when you try to jam 60 of them into a box.
Mm-hmm.
So you got some weird angles, but I'm okay with that. Hey, if it's 99 cents, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And I'll fix it, because all I do, I throw it into a hardcover sleeve, and guess what? It's flat.
Right.
So I'm fine with that. I have no problem you bending my cards. That's what sleeves are for.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, some of the things that I really like about the game, just to start with, is obviously we talked about the actual product itself, the way it looks. It looks cool. Everything's very, very easy to see what goes where. I love the fact that it's a quick game. Once you get the game down, I think games are going to average about 20-25 minutes in length.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that, because I think it's easy to teach people. That's one of the things I really like about it as well. And just the characters themselves are cool.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't like these characters? I think one of the strategies that I'm starting to pick up on is just the cost of the characters. Right out of the box, the 6-7 cost characters, powers are really powerful.
Yeah, they look fantastic.
You read them and you're like, oh my, geez, this thing's awesome. But, so I tried building a team with a bunch of those guys, and I just never got them. One of my favorite characters is Cyclops, the 7 cost Cyclops, if looks could kill, and I think he's the uncommon version. But I've literally bought him once and had him in my dice bag, and I never even got a chance to play him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a max die of 2 to begin with, so it's not like it's something that you're going to have a lot of dice dedicated to your team-o, but still.
Right. Yeah, that's what, and that's what's nice. That was the uncommon Cyclops.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like the super rares you played with Knucklehead before, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, he's fantastic. He's powerful, and you can see it works, but it's not necessarily the best there is. One of my favorite guys right now is you get him in the starter pack. Specifically Beast Mutate 666.
Mm-hmm.
He's cheap, it's 2 cost, you get to block with him, and he gets you dice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's super fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's in the starter, if you can get a hold of one.
If you can get one. I guess he makes a little bit more rare than super rare right now.
I guess that is, yeah. He's going for like $45 on eBay or something, maybe, for the starters.
No,
but
I think, and of all the beasts, I think he's probably the best version. I mean, I know it seems like the versions that you can get in the booster packs of the starter characters are more powerful versions of them.
Yeah.
But the beast from the starter is just pretty nasty.
Yeah, I love. It comes down to different mechanics and things like that, but me personally, I like to, when trying to build a team, I try to figure out what is the most important mechanic of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Just coming across any kind of game. And for me, I think, first impressions, I think blocking is that mechanic. Mm-hmm. And so Beast happens to be a blocker. He's definitely not going to be attacking with attack of 1 or 2, but he blocks. Mm-hmm. Because when you get to block, you stop all incoming damage. Mm-hmm. You also KO the prep area.
That's right. Get him in that prep area.
That's fantastic, which means that you get another die to roll, which allows you more energy for your next turn to recruit more guys.
Right.
And I think that's a twofold. And you have a chance to get him again. Mm-hmm. It's win, 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 win.
That's right.
It's just, I love it.
You can't win the game if you don't draw any dice, And
it's true. But you can't win the game without attacking either. So
that's true.
You
gotta have a little bit of both.
You got to have a little bit of both, and it's the fine line, and that's why it's fun. It's fun to see what kind of teams are built, and it's fun to see different strategies.
I've kind of figured out, I have the teams that I think I've had a little bit more success with are teams that have half of the guys that are dedicated to 4 cost and under, because you only draw 4 dice, especially at the beginning of the game.
Right.
For the first, 2-3 turns, it's hard to get over that 4 cost threshold. There's a big difference between 4 and 5 cost characters. I built a team, like I said, with higher cost characters, thinking that I would slow play it. My big characters would eventually over. I never got to that point. The game is so fast that you really need to have be able to buy at least a die every turn.
Correct.
Or if not more.
Right.
Because that's what gets the thing going.
Yeah, a lot of times you go into the turn thinking, okay, I'm going to buy this guy, and then you roll a sidekick, and you're like, wow, I really need to block. And you're like, okay, I guess I'm fielding the sidekick instead of re-rolling him, because, like you said before, you don't really want to leave an open field.
No, open field is terrible.
Yeah.
I think you need to have somebody there, swinging out. I swung out at 16 life, and I thought I was going to be okay. Thinking I'll take down 2 hit points, and then next round a couple Thor and a Hulk came out on me, and that was game over.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a quick lesson.
That's what's so fun about it, and that's how quick this game can be. Mm-hmm. But I think it's balanced well. Like, your commons, your uncommons, your things like that. Not only do they change in their powers, but they also change in their cost too, and stuff. And so it's fantastic. Even some characters have some globals on some levels and no globals on the other.
Right.
So it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's true. And I wonder on that level where the price points are going to settle for these characters. I know I've seen super rares going. I think right now, at least from the players at our store that have been purchasing, it seems to be getting 1 super rare per 2 booster displays. So it's like 1 super rare per 120 packs.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
super rare.
Yeah, which is
makes sense.
Yeah, ultra rare or whatever they think they're calling it.
The super rares, but
so I'm surprised that seeing them online. I thought that actually they would be more expensive.
Yeah, ditto. I'm very surprised how low they are. The rares, where I think it's about 10 rares a booster, and there's like 30 rares out there.
Yeah, there's 30 rares. That's the thing I think it's going to be harder to get is getting a complete set of rares because of the fact that there's 30 of them.
Yeah.
There's only 4 of these ultra rares.
Right.
And the 4 are great, but I don't think they're necessary. I know there's been complaints on the forums about Green Goblin and how powerful he is zapping every 2 fairy sidekick, but there's ways around that guy. I don't think any of those 4 guys are completely
unfair, unbalanced kind of thing.
No, I think there's definitely ways around it, but I'm worried about trying to get, from a collector standpoint, because that's what I am.
Right. How to get them all.
Get all 30 rares, that's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I understand that, and I hope that doesn't, and that's where some kind of slowness to the game, and some people who are still kind of waiting to see how this game plays out, who haven't played collectible games before, because they think there's so much money thrown out of it, that you can buy all these boosters and never get the guy you want. Just kind of an example, for some of those characters, if you're really looking for 1 rare that you can't get, I think it's worth going on eBay and paying $10 for him. Just to get that 1 card, because that's like 10 packs. You're not going to pull them in those 10 packs. The specific rare you want. If you have other guys you can trade for, and that's fantastic.
Right.
But personally, what I like to do, I'm not a huge collectible because I'm so competitive. I just want the best cards out there. I kind of think about my team, and then instead of paying X amount of dollars to own the entire set, I pay even less than that, and I just buy the certain ones that I want.
Sure. I hope that you buy them from our store, though.
Yeah.
You can go to www.theatozgames.com instead of eBay.
Yeah, well, I definitely like going to local stores and stuff, and that's why the price point helps. Like I said before, I have $5 in my pocket. I still like to feel the feeling of opening that pack, of getting that rare, of getting that super rare.
Right.
For $1, $5.
Yeah.
I'll buy the certain cards that I want, and I still go and I'll spend $2, $3, get 3 packs, take a shot.
Sure.
And if nothing, I add more dice to my field, and that's what this game is so specifically awesome. Even if you have that card already, pulling a common in that guy, it's still a win.
It still helps because you get the dice.
Still win.
Yeah, there's always value in that.
And that's fantastic.
And I just think as far as building teams goes, I thought that having only those 8 characters is actually pretty restrictive. And the 20 dice, making some choices on where you're going to put the dice actually comes into play. So I'm excited to see that because I've noticed, I'd actually like to have a couple extra characters on my team, and then having to decide, well, no, maybe I'll save that for a different team or a different type of build.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun. I mean, there's tons of different ways to build teams. You could get a lot deeper in building teams, but are you going offensive, defensive? I like to have some offense, some defense, and then some counter. Just, hey, these are what-ifs. You know, kind of like there's a Loki card that's like, you don't get to field a character. Those are fun counter characters, and I won't ever touch them unless something's going wrong.
Right.
So 8 character definitely gets limited when you're talking like 3 attackers, 3 defenders, maybe 2 counters. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting to see where the sweet spot's going to be as far as where your main focus of your strategy is going to be, and then having a little bit of like a sideboard of what you think is going to counter your own strategy.
I think dice, the amount of 20 dice, isn't an issue. I don't foresee any game that you'll ever go through all 20 of your dice.
No.
I mean, I think that's impossible. The game will be far over before you get to that point.
But it's all about having options. So, like some of the games I've played, I've had certain dice on a character, like Spider-Man. I was playing with Spider-Man, and I realized that I didn't really want that character as much, so I was glad that I had extra dice that I could buy from a different character.
Right.
So it just depends on the games you're going to play.
Yeah.
And your opponent's strategy that you see, what you're going to do.
And that's what makes this game so much fun, is it's always different. Even if you have the same team, when you play against a different team, you field a different team. You buy different dice depending on your opponent or the feel of the game. Sometimes you roll super, tons of energy in the beginning, and you're able to get more dice, and then the other ones, another game, they'll roll all sidekicks. And you're not allowed to get those big dice. You fill in, I'm turning to blocking this time.
Right.
So that's what I really enjoy about this game, is it's very adaptable. You have to kind of adapt on the fly. Like, minus your first 2 rounds, pretty ho-hum, but it just gets pretty fun and crazy.
Yeah, but you're kind of on your heels, or you're trying to be the aggressor based upon what's going on.
Yeah, but it's still simple.
Yeah, exactly. It's still just picking up dice, putting them in your bag, and rolling.
And rolling it. So that's what's so fun, and that's what's easy for a 10-year-old and whatnot. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah, the numbers aren't big. There's not really complex math involved in this game.
Yeah, not at all.
Which makes it nice. Like I said, it's nice and easy to teach. So it's something that I like. But basic strategy so far that I've kind of seen just in playing the game is that psychic dice.
Yeah.
People want to get rid of them. They don't like them. Boy, they're great. They're blockers.
Yeah.
They'll absorb all that damage. They'll let you live till your next turn.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
And they get KO'd right into that prep area and get added to your hand, and that's how you get the bigger dice. That's how you can get to those bigger costed characters. I've seen a lot of themes in the characters. It seems like they've kind of focused on a few different themes on this first set as far as mechanics are concerned. It seems like there's a heavy draw mechanic in a lot of the characters. There's a lot of characters that deal with being engaged with, opposing characters, and a lot of characters that can't be blocked by certain other characters.
Those are very annoying characters.
Yeah, and then the direct damage guys.
Yeah.
And there's the direct damage guys. Now, I'm sure there's going to be other mechanics that they're going to involve in other games, but I'm not sure of those 4 which is the best strategy to go with, or if it's good to kind of have a mix of all of those on your team.
Right.
Be more well-rounded.
Right. Yeah, it's tough to say, and the only way to do it is to create some teams, play them out, see what works, see what doesn't, and see if it's a rock, paper, scissors kind of battle. Is this better than this type? Is this better than this type?
Right.
Or is there one end-all, be-all, grenade that wins?
Right. I mean, I knew that, like, when I first showed this game to people back at the end of March, they were talking about, well, why not just build a team that's all the same energy? I'll just build all lightning, and then I'll always get what I need, and I'm just going to destroy this game's dumb. It's going to be broken. And then you see characters that they printed that, completely destroy that kind of a strategy. So I don't necessarily think that building a team based around one type of energy is a good idea.
Right.
I think having it having a couple different characters that are there will help you out. Because if you're playing all, characters of one type of energy, and then your opponent is fielding a character that can't be blocked except for
yeah, exactly.
You're screwed.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, game over.
So it seems like they put a lot of checks and balances in this, which is what I like. So
fantastic.
I really don't think we're going to devolve, at least right now, into the one 8-person team that is just unbeatable, and you're just playing against mirror match, and it comes down to luck.
Right.
I don't foresee it that way from what I've seen. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that way. Only time will tell. But I definitely do see, as far as the actions are concerned, seems to be like there's a lot more popular actions than other ones.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, well, you're only dealing with 8 anyway.
Right.
Total. So, is it 8 or 10? I should say. I believe it's actually 10.
You're the one that has a starter, don't you?
Yeah. So, I guess I should know this. But that goes to saying, I don't even know how many there are because I always use the same 2. I always use the same 3.
Right.
There's the popular ones.
Yeah.
So, a lot of games I've played, we have 2 of the same force that we brought to the table. So we've got 6 of that die.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're powerful ones, like the direct damage. That's fantastic. Powerbolt, or getting to roll more dice.
Yeah, gearing up is another. Yeah, those are the same.
I'll see those
powerful.
all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I see those all the time.
Yeah.
It's fun, it's easy, and those are super powerful.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, no fault to the other ones. Nobody's really quite thought out strategies how to use those.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and it depends on the global abilities that they have too. I think that's where a lot of the sub-layer of the
the
complexity can get involved in there.
depth. Yeah, exactly. The hidden potential there with global abilities.
And how they affect the game. Yeah.
You don't really necessarily think how your global abilities will affect your opponent.
Yeah.
But your opponent could have a team that just obliterates your global abilities.
Right.
Like I was playing a game with Mr. Fantastic, and he said on his global ability, spend this to force a character to attack, and I got to use that against my opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Got rid of his Mr. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, didn't see that coming against it. So
yeah, it's pretty interesting how he can kind of snipe you like that.
Yeah.
I noticed a couple of different things that I like to do with the global abilities based on the action. I want to say it's called Distraction, where it allows you to remove an attacking character from the field by paying a mask. And I like to field the 4-cost Storm that forces your opponent to reroll all of their characters in the field when she attacks. So I would have her attack, reroll all of my opponent's characters, and then since she's got so little life, and I didn't want to lose her or have her go back into my use area, I just pulled her back with a mask.
Yeah, that's genius.
Because you can target. It doesn't say you can't target your own characters with it.
Yeah.
So target my own characters, and there she goes. She's there next round. And I can do it all over again. She just kind of clears the path for the rest of my attackers.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and that's that in-depth, extra layer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I find so fun about it. I mean, as a player, like we talked about it, I'm competitive. I love to try to break a game. I want to find that team that's just, you can't touch this. Like it is just, it flows so nicely that it's so super hard to beat, and takes hopefully a lot of the luck out of the draw and just kind of forces you in, and that's the kind of moves that work that I like searching for.
Yeah.
But,
no, we'll hopefully that's kind of what we want to explore in this podcast. Is getting down into the little nitty-gritty of specific characters, specific strategies, things that we like.
Yeah.
We're going to hopefully go over our events that we've had and the teams that we've played and what we liked about them, what we didn't like about them. Kind of give you guys a different perspective on the game. Maybe think of some strategies that you hadn't thought of, or some combinations of characters that you hadn't contemplated, and hopefully learn a little bit and do it in a fun way that's not like a lecture.
Right.
We're not interested in doing that.
No, not at all. And I'd love to hear ideas from you guys too, because I think this is the meaning of the podcast is to help make everybody better players. We help talk to each other, and you guys help inform us of what's good and what worked for you, and we can discuss things via Facebook, things like that.
Yeah.
So
we're definitely looking for feedback on ways to make this more interactive. So we're going to be setting up our Facebook page, and we would, in a Twitter account, we would like you to tweet at us or send us direct questions on Facebook. You can send us anything from, what we think about certain characters, what we think about certain strategies, what
worked for you.
Yeah, let us know what you like, what works for you, things that we do that you don't like, stuff like that. But obviously this game's going to be very big, and like I said, we had 16 players turn out for our first event, and we only had 5 starters, and we had 16 players still show up to want to play because they were that excited about the game.
Yeah.
And I think it worked out great. So I'm really excited to see where this is going to go and our potential, where the game's going to grow. I know that they've already announced the next expansion, the Uncanny X-Men, that's coming out in September, and they've even recently announced a DC and a Yu-Gi-Oh! Expansion that'll be coming out in the fall. So it's just going to be a lot of dice.
Yeah, a lot of Dice Masters. We'll see how kind of intertwined they are.
Mm-hmm.
But
so our next episode, we're going to talk a little bit about more specific characters and some more specific strategies, just of what we've seen this last week of playing. Till then, though, this is Rico
and JP.
Just wanting to remind you not to forget to KO the crap area.